I came across a nice bottle. I wanted to open it with you.
Goodness. Shouldn't you share it with your fellow officers?
No, it has to be you. It'll be wasted on that lot who can only think about promotion. Besides, I feel at ease when I'm with you. You're someone I can trust.
Hmm.
What is it?
Did something happen?
Nothing interesting. Just a lot of things at home. I'm surprised you noticed.
When you drink like that, it usually means something happened.
Okay, not only at home. Things have been busy at work, too.
But you still made time to see me.
Lieutenant Colonel Smirnov trusted Violet. It said that she would glean bits of inside information from him, then move on to his fellow officers to find evidence supporting what she learned.
It seems that you visit Ipsaria at every opportunity.
Yes, sire.
Do you miss your motherland?
Ipsaria is Rue's territory that must be reclaimed. It was simply reconnaissance on the enemy.
Be at ease. We merely jest.
Sire, I wish to ask something.
Speak.
For what reason does your majesty advocate the general?
An amusing inquiry.
Jutland's princes spoke of protecting the people. I was wondering if all who stand atop their domain feel the same.
Such youthful naivete as ever. We assume the role of hegemon, of course, for our own sake.
One's own sake.
Are we not a man born in troubled times? Though life is all too short, we refuse to die before standing atop the world. Each step we take brings us closer to our manifest destiny. We will go anywhere. We would walk over anyone to reach our destination. Ruse, Ipsaria, Jutland, the Valkyria. Even you. Everybody. Everything exists to follow our divine mandate. It is unlike us to speak so freely. Maxime, it now occurs to us why we took you under our wing. It may be that we see a shadow of our past self within you.
Your majesty's past?
We too were once second in line to the throne. At the time, Ruse was a small country, lacking in resources and relevance. We, however, held greater ambitions, and so we set about to raise this nation into a hegemony that would span the globe. Around this time, we obtained the Valkyria. Its power would prove to be our first step in following the way of kings. Then, to increase our imperial strength, we took control of the neighboring countries, hence the conquest of Ipsaria. Anything that is not a stepping stone is an obstacle to us. Expanding Ruse's territory made it equal to the world powers. Naturally, we have gained many enemies on the road to rule. Deflecting attempts on our life is an everyday occurrence. Though grudges and vendettas surround us, we regret nothing. We shall shoulder the suffering of those who fell before us. It is that unwavering resolve which paves our path of power.
How glorious. His Majesty's unfaltering words always resonate with me. Why then do I feel as if something bothers me?
We place our faith, Grand General Maxim.
Thank you, sire. His Majesty's resolve and the hegemony he spoke of, they are noble and without doubt. It speaks to my very being. But I cannot see what lies beyond. After he conquers the world, do happiness and peace wait in the future? Peace.
Our target is here. Glotzen.
This colony's been under the Empire's heel for a while now.
I managed to dig up this interesting story over wine.
Is this information credible?
I got in contact with other officers and found evidence. The Empire's investing heavily in Glotzen to develop a weapon greater than anything we've seen.
With winter ending, they must be gearing up again.
So, we've been cooking up some kick-ass monotech of our own.
Apparently yours can't even compare, Baz.
As if the valkyria is not enough.
Simply having a powerful weapon at the ready has meaning. It doubles as a demonstration for the major powers, too. However, even it has its limits.
How do you mean?
There's only one Valkyria. It can't appear at multiple locations at once. Accordingly, Ruse must be extremely selective of which battleground to deploy it.
Even with it, they still need the support of strong weapons.
But their alchemic weaponry's still half-baked, right?
That's for sure.
Your boy toy shared a lot with you.
Well, he isn't the type to divulge secrets, but you can thank his stressful home life.
We should destroy this weapon before they finish it.
Agreed. Then, we'll be able to apply even more pressure on the Empire.
Am!
Glad you guys came.
That's my line.
All right, everyone, let's head back home.
Miss Maria, can we play out here a little longer?
Goodness, you were out here for so long, but you still want to play more?
Let's go home. I'm starving.
We just ate snacks. You're such a pig. You can go home. We'll play by ourselves.
No, don't say such mean things.
Please, Miss Maria, can we? Miss Maria! Hey, Miss Maria!
Miss Maria.
April 5th. the Jutland army departed for the imperial domain of Glotzen.
Shadows rise as darkness falls.
Yes, it's night.
I wonder, is the Valkyria as nocturnal as the rumors claim?
They're not rumors, it's intelligence.
Still, I think it was a night owl. But I guess it's not too surprising, what with its image as a reaper.
Tonight's a surprise attack. I'm sure it won't show up.
Let it. I'll just show that thing the business end of all my training. You hear that, Reaper? Bring it on! I'll tussle with you anytime!
Helena, you're being too loud.
Pray tell, how certain is this information?
Is there any reason to doubt it?
Nay, not as far as I know. But in that case, should we not avoid combat after dusk?
The only thing we should do is complete our missions and keep an eye out for the Valkyria. Same as always. Doesn't matter when. We won't win the war if we avoid fighting at night.
Huh.
Enough talk.
This is a cinch!
For now, but we can't let our guard down.
I don't intend on relaxing my guard, but the Empire's being moronic. This isn't even a decent defense.
Maybe we just got too dang strong. Right, PP?
Something seems amiss.
What does?
This feels too easy by far. We have bypassed much tighter security than this, I believe. 'Tis almost as if we are being invited in.
You heard her. What do you think, Lieutenant?
The princess is right. They're hardly putting up a fight.
Their numbers match the intel.
Could it be that the intelligence is inaccurate?
It came from a reliable source.
This is unlike you. Have you properly confirmed it?
I'm sure it's been verified.
I was asking Amlet.
What do you suggest we do? Turn back?
If only we could. We cannot ignore the reports of the enemy developing new weaponry.
Then we keep going.
Huh?
Nothing is here.
Huh?
Well, well. What a sad state this is.
Balderdash! A reliable source, my perfect posterior. How's that crow tasting, Captain Clueless?
You don't think this is a...
Uh-oh.
It's a trap.
Now, let the hunt begin.
There's less enemies that way. There are woods past this encirclement.
It may be another trap, but it's the only way out.
Amlet!
We can't stay here, Captain. We need to split up and head back to the woods.
You're right. Get to the woods and get back to where we rested. Meet back up before dawn.
And if we're late?
We can't wait for stragglers. Come daybreak, we leave.
No. Criminy, our so-called captain's cold-blooded to the core.
Go, go!
thrill of the chase. All units, follow me. Hunt them down.
Hamlet!
It's just you.
Something wrong with that?
Sorry.
For what?
The trap. You were right.
Now is not the time to discuss right or wrong. Our first and only priority is escape.
Yes, of course.
That was the first time.
Hmm?
That you apologized to me.
What are you talking about?
Honestly, I am somewhat amazed. Several years have passed since we met at the Institute, but this was the first sorry I've heard from you.
You remember the weirdest things.
For as long as we've known each other, you've always been ahead of me. Even though we were in different classes, it was your name I had to compete with for the top seat and the highest grades. Which is why, during our shared courses, I was curious about your alchemic abilities. Even back then, you were a man of few words.
That's so?
If I may, there was something I wished to ask you.
What's that?
Whenever Hans delivers a report from the battlefront, each time he mentions the death toll, you look so sad.
Casualties are hardly pleasant news.
But of course, I can barely stand to hear about good people getting hurt, or worse. Yet your reaction is different. I can scarcely describe it. You seem pained. Even at the Institute of Alchemy, you were always so tense, never letting anyone get close. I visited the Institute the other day to see the professor.
Professor Charlotte? Why?
Because I wanted to ask how to improve my alchemic ability. Hamlet, have you been attuned to Ragnite since you were a child?
Why do you ask?
I want to be strong like you. I wanted to know how to heighten my power over mana.
I don't know. I've always had this power. An ambush!
I cannot believe we allowed so many to surround us.
The hunt grows most exciting once you've cornered your prey. Oh my, alchemists really are the most dangerous game of all. I'd better treat this wild goose chase like a monster hunt. All units retreat! Return to base! Or What's left of it.
We made it.
Somehow we did.
Sun's almost up. Let's go.
It's morning.
Well then, time to go. Chop chop, captain's orders.
Of all people, it's those two who didn't make it.
So, what's the call?
I'm waiting.
Me too.
So will I.
Are you gonna disobey the captain's orders, Lieutenant?
The rest of you go. I'll find the princess on my own.
If we're gonna wait, we should stay here. We can't afford to miss them.
I'll stay. Everyone, please go look for the captain and the princess.
We better split between those who are going to stay and the search party.
Good grief. All right, I'll be on the search party.
Count me in. If Fifi's nearby, I'll sniff her out for sure.
What the dickens? Why, I never...
Of course, they're an integral part of Vanargand.
First, the search party should...
Hold up. Someone's coming.
What are you doing, Bloom? Hide!
It's the captain!
Fifi!
I'm sorry to have worried you, Sarah.
I'm glad you're safe.
I told you not to wait.
It was my call. I accept responsibility for disobeying orders.
Nuh-uh, I was totally gonna wait for Fifi, no matter what.
Me too. I said we should wait.
If you say that, all of us are guilty.
Well, maybe not Isaac, right?
That's right. Isaac was the only one who was a good soldier.
So true. He's a model military man. We could all learn from him.
Odds bodkins, what are you ragamuffins ragging on me for? I did nothing wrong.
We know. It's a joke, lad. A joke.
Well then.
I'll deal with you all back at base.
But beg pardon? But it was for our sakes that they...
That doesn't mean I'm not grateful for what you did. Thank you, all of you. Let's go.
Yes.
The way the media reported the Battle of Glotzen was the complete opposite for Jutland and the Ruzi Empire. Jutland had reported that they destroyed the enemy base and successfully escaped a large besiegement.
Yes, the people had no idea that they were lured into a trap. And meanwhile, at the Ruzi Empire,
Comrades, Ruse has succeeded in routing the Jutish invasion. The end of winter brings with it the time of awakening, a new beginning for the Ruzi Empire. This huge victory lays an imperial foundation upon which we promise to rebuild our motherland back to eternal greatness.
The time of awakening. That is when you mortals cast away the azure power. However, such a time will never come to pass. Young fleeting mortals, you will never see the twilight. For I will end everything.
I'm so sorry, Am. The only consolation is that you came back safely.
Violet, don't meet with your contact for a while.
No can do. On the contrary, he'll suspect me if I don't.
Gotta side with Saul here. He might have been trying to flesh out spies. Like you.
But he's a source of information.
It's for your own good.
Am, do you agree with the others too?
Of course. Can't do this without you, Vi.
Oh, you're making me tear up. Thanks for worrying, everyone. But I'm going to maintain contact with him.
The operation was a success.
Yes, it was.
To think scattering information would produce such results. Now to expose these vermin infesting our country. Treat every person you meet as an enemy.
Are you in pain, comrade?
It's not as bad as it looks. And I was so close to getting rid of that meddlesome princess.
Focus on recovering for the nonce.
Words can't describe my shame, sire.
Jutland will attempt to recover from their blunder at Glotzen as soon as they are able. However, it's obvious how an operation that is rushed will turn out.
Yes, but with winter ending, we can finally take the initiative, Your Majesty.
Ha!
Councilman Kallenberg.
Yes?
My name is Godot Villefort.
Ah, you.
I take it the captain's told you about me.
Let's move to another location. This isn't the place for our discussion.
The more I look into you all, the heavier it weighs on my heart. I know what you're doing is morally questionable at best, but I can't help but understand.
Then why not leave it at that? Kindly stop looking into us. We chose this path in order to move forward. I'd appreciate if you continue your missions under Amlet, especially if you care for your country.
I intend to.
We don't need anyone's sympathy.
The retreat at Glotzen forced the traders to proceed to the next operation immediately.
At last we come to the great battle of Kavaltis.
I have a favor to ask of you, Captain. I'm frustrated about the battle at Glotzen, so please win the next one for us, sir.
That's your favor?
Yes, sir. That's it.
You're a little close.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, the anti-war movement's gotten really vocal lately. They say an army who can't admit defeat is an embarrassment, that we should surrender to Ruse before it's too late.
Hans, what are your thoughts on our last battle?
Me, sir? I think I'm glad everyone here came out safe. To me, Vanargand is more than a unit. It's an inspiration. The anti-Valkyria squad is the face of Jutland's liberation. That's why I'm so happy you all made it back in one piece.
Oh no!
Bridget, wipe that look off your face.
Nothing wrong with that. Don't let anyone tell you different.
Yes, sir!
Don't worry about what anyone else thinks.
Goodness gracious, was that...
Did he just smile?
No way!
What?
Oh, I missed it! You should have said something sooner!
Ow, that hurts!
They're all so charmed by your singing, milady. It is strange. I do not know the full extent of this magic. However, now that I am aware of it, I can feel it inside me. A power sprung from every breath and rising with each note.
A power for fighting the Valkyria?
Nay, not for fighting. 'Tis a spark of light and life, like the warmth of a newborn star. Does that make any sense?
Judging by their expressions, it really does. Anyway, you sure have visited a lot of new places in a short amount of time.
I am not exactly sightseeing.
Of course not, but haven't you already experienced more than you ever would have otherwise?
True. Even though they were under the Empire's control, every land I've traveled to had its own unique lifestyle. No matter how much Ruse took, the hearts of these nations still beat strong. It gives me hope for their liberation.
That's one way to look at it. But even though the Rusi colonies are being oppressed,
They'll accept it as long as they can keep their cultures. In other words, the Empire left their customs intact. For example, if festivals and holidays are left alone, people can let off steam and relieve their frustrations. And then, oddly enough, they start convincing themselves that the Emperor understands them. Some say that's why they've accepted a foreign regime. Claudius, that tyrant, he's downright insidious. Just so. Looking back on the history of Europa, tyrannical governments can only impose their rule by force for so long. Conquerors who disregard the traditional cultures of their colonies are inevitably overthrown by rebels and insurgents. Until we unmask the insidious nature of his reign, we cannot truly claim to have liberated anyone. Jutland has to lead Europa into opening its own eyes. Then you should sing to the countries you've liberated too. I beg your pardon? Music heals the soul and rejuvenates the people's spirits, including mine. Your Highness's voice could rally the whole world together. Thank you, Miranda. Now go on and sing. They've been waiting all this time. Indeed.
Next is Friet Eriksson and Violet Sand.
Figured you'd show up sooner or later. Heard you already met with Solomon.
Indeed.
You're a strange guy. You seek us out, but don't sling any criticism or support our way. What exactly are you after?
I honestly don't know. I just want to meet you all.
Well, as you can plainly see, I'm nothing more than a writer, an essayist. We each have our own jobs.
All of which aid you in your current endeavors. It takes an extraordinary amount of willpower to remain devoted to a single cause so thoroughly for 10 years.
After the orphanage burned, a teacher took me in. I spent my days in a house filled with books and devoured all of them. That's how I learned about the power of words. I eventually started writing for newspapers to see more of the world.
And then you went freelance?
Wanted to broaden my horizons further, that's all.
And did you?
There's still a great deal I don't know, but I like learning. It gives me something I can call my own. You know, I was initially opposed to the war. The 5 of us fought about it more than a few times. But eventually I came around. Our whole lives were erased. They tried to bury the truth, but they forgot to bury us. So we decided it was time to fight. But enough about that. Let me ask you, will you take action against us?
No. I have only love for this country. And I think I best serve this country by fighting alongside you all.
You're a strange man.
I won't argue that. Lieutenant Sand.
Oh. So you came. I heard about you from Manlet. I'm surprised you were able to find me.
It wasn't easy.
Why not use that determination for Jutland?
That's what has brought me to all of you.
It seems you know about us, yet you don't try to stop us.
If there's one thing I've learned about the captain, it's no use trying to stop him once he's set his mind to something.
Yes, it's no use trying to stop it.
For that very reason, I want you to continue. Your fervor will ensure Jutland's victory, and that is all that matters.
You plan to exploit us?
Not unlike how you're exploiting this country.
And we're prepared to accept the consequences for that. Ever since the day we decided to do this. Satisfied?
Yes,
You're an unusual person.
I get that a lot.